Hi everybody, today I'll be discussing on the common terminologies pertinent to the pain. We have been using the terms called radicular pain, radiculitis, radiculopathy, sciatica and so on. As a physiotherapist, you should be having clarity in knowing what these terminologies actually mean. Let me start with radicular pain. Radicular means the nerve, the spinal nerve you can call. We have about 31 pairs of spinal nerves in the body, and the moment the nerve exit from the spinal cord and come out of the vertebral column, in that point we call it as a spinal nerve or radicular nerve. So any compression, maybe a mechanical compression or a discogenic compression or a spur compressing it, that can cause pain along the course of the nerve. That nerve will produce pain, and that nature of pain is called as radicular pain. So the pain emanating from the radicular or spinal nerve is called as radicular pain, and the nature of the radicular pain is radiating in nature. So some patients use the term radiating pain. So the moment they feel the radicular pain, they say that the pain is traveling down to the hands like that. Similarly, they will feel the pain from the back traveling down to the leg. So this is called as radiating pain, which is the hallmark sign of radicular pain. Now there is something called radiculitis. Radiculitis indicate inflammation in the radicular nerve. This inflammation could be either due to mechanical compression or ischemic damage, or it could be due to inflammation, or it could be due to infection. So these are the common reasons for which a nerve can get inflamed. Any inflamed nerve will produce pain, and again the nature of the pain is radicular pain. In radiculitis, the pain is the most troublesome symptom for the patient, whereas there is a term called radiculopathy. Chronic radiculitis, let's say people who are having pain for about 15 to 20 years, this radicular pain will become a radiculopathy pain. So pathy means disease, so it's a disease of the nerve. So when the nerve is mechanically compressed or it's having an ischemic damage for long period of time, the functions of the nerve will get affected. What are the functions of the nerve? It looks after the sensation, it looks after the muscle power, and it looks after the blood supply. So when a single nerve is compressed, patients may experience varied symptoms ranging from sensory problem or motor problem, in other words muscle weakness, and vasomotor problem, in other words circulatory problem. So when someone is having a radiculopathy, that means they are having the problem for long period of time on their radicular nerve, that causes not only pain but also muscular weakness. The hallmark difference between radiculitis and radiculopathy is, in radiculitis it will be usually pain as the most worrisome symptom for the patient. In radiculopathy, the weakness will be the most concerning symptom. Pain will be there, but the weakness is the one which is most bothering to the patient. Okay, so in radiculitis, the pain will be most acute in nature, whereas radiculopathy is more chronic in nature. It takes long time to develop, and mostly the old age people beyond their 50s or 60s, they'll get radiculopathy kind of pain. The term sciatica indicates the rootlets of the sciatic nerve like L4, L5, S1, S2, S3. Either of these roots or two or more of these roots will get compressed, and that produces pain along its own course. So this is called as sciatica, which indicates that the root level compression happening in the sciatic nerve, or sometimes once the nerve is extra foraminal, as it comes down to the muscular level in the gluteal region, in the hamstring level, it can get compressed, which is not very common. But the sciatic nerve rootlets getting compressed in the spinal canal because of the bulging disc, because of the spur, because of stenosis, these are the reasons why the sciatic nerve can produce pain. And sciatica is a form of radicular pain, because the rootlets of the sciatic nerve is getting affected, and hence you can call sciatica as a form of radicular pain. Now there is something called referred pain. So what is referred pain? The pain source will be in one area and the pain will be felt in the other area. So the pain starting from one source will exhibit the pain in the other area. For example, there is something called visceral referred pain. That means the problem will be in the viscera. For example, someone is having a heart attack, the pain is not necessarily felt in the chest. Rather, the pain can be felt in the left side of the arm. Sometimes it can even go to the jaw. Similarly, in appendix problem, let's say somebody is having appendicitis, the pain is not necessarily shall be felt here. Rather, the pain will be felt in the front of the abdomen. So these are all the examples of visceral referred pain, where the problem is in one area which will be referred in the other area. Similarly, there is something called somatic referral pain. What is somatic referral pain? Anything apart from viscera is called a somatic. For example, your bones, muscles, joints, disc, capsules and your muscles, they do refer pain. So that's the reason why referred pain is very difficult to treat, because the pain source will be somewhere else and the referral point will be somewhere else. For example, in frozen shoulder, capsule will be at fault, capsule will be inflamed, but as you stretch the capsule, the pain will be felt all over the arm till the elbow. This is the example of capsule referring pain to the arm. Similarly, muscles refer pain. For example, when there is a trigger point in the muscles or knots in the muscles, that also do refer pain to the distant site. For example, the infraspandex, if it's having a trigger point, or a teres major if it's having a trigger point, the pain can be felt in the arm. So the muscles do refer pain, capsules do refer pain, even the joints do refer pain. For example, facet joint do refer pain. So these are all the nature of somatic referral pain. The source of pain will be in one area and the referral will be in the other area. So as a therapist, because we are going to treat patients with pain, we should know what type of pain we are dealing with. Is it a visceral referral pain? Is it a somatic referral pain? If it is somatic referral pain, where the pain is starting from? Is it a muscular pain? Is it a facet joint pain? Is it a capsular pain? So this kind of information is of paramount importance to any treating physiotherapist to treat their patients with utmost accuracy. After a proper diagnosis, then they will be able to do the correct form of treatment. I hope you liked our video. Keep watching us. Thank you.